What's good? Will Freeman, RevolutionaryLifestyleDesign.com, talking to you today about why everything is an investment and 99.9% of investments are worthless. So, let's get started and talk about the investments that can actually make you money and are actually a good financial investment. Owning a business, by far the best. Everyone that got rich off of a business. You do not get rich off of owning properties because you can't afford it if you're broke. Or gold, because gold does 6% a year. Or stocks, because stocks do 8% a year. You get rich by investing into a business that gets you 10,000% in the early stages. Rest of investments are currency. Currency is an investment, but it is a depreciating investment and it is something that's losing you 6% a year, whatever the inflation rate is. But it is still a better investment than most things. I'll get to that in a moment. Precious metals, real estate, bonds, even though there are negative yield bonds that people are buying, collectibles, rare watches, vintage cars, etc. That's pretty much it. Crypto is included here as it is somewhat of a currency. It could also be included as a equity or an unregistered security, which most of the altcoins are. And then you have Bitcoin, which trades in the same way as, well, doesn't trade in the same way as gold, but it's the same idea of a type of investment, of a storage of wealth. It's basically digital gold, but with a much more volatile trajectory. So those things right there, business, private business, currency, uh, crypto, equities, precious metals, real estate, bonds, collectibles, are the only things that you have a chance on making money on. Everything else is a money losing investment, and everything else is an investment of your money. You're investing whether you want to or not. And most of what you buy either depreciates 30 to 100% the second you buy it. So a car, unless it is a vintage supercar or Porsche, that could go up in value. If you're getting a Toyota, that's depreciating 30% the second you bought it. Food is depreciating 100%. You'd have a tough time reselling the food that you just ate. Although it's a sick world, there might be some buyers. Um, so these are all lifestyle investments. You are investing in feeling good in the moment, which is perfectly fine. The entire reason you make all your financial investments is to be able to buy stuff, goods and services that make you feel good, and to be able to put you in a place to have free time and allow you to buy good relationships, right? Because you can't really have good relationships if you're broke and have to work all the time. They also allows you to um, buy better relationships with women because let's face it, if you have a lot of money, you are going to be more attractive to women. You're also going to be able to provide better experiences. You're going to pay people to blow up your brand on social media and reach out in the DMs and all that stuff and get better women. So I'm not saying that lifestyle investments are bad. In fact, they're basically the whole point of money making investments. What I'm saying is that they are worthless in the sense of they have no financial worth and they are a place for your money to go. So if you're not at the financial level that you want and you're spending the bulk of your business dividends and salary on lifestyle investments, you are not going to be able to get to the financial level that you want because everything you're spending your money on is worthless. It is, at the very least, you can resell the car, but it's at 70% of its value. It is a bad financial investment. Okay. And, to take it to the furthest extent, to pop $20,000 worth of bottles in the club is the worst financial investment that you can make. Now, you can make that kind of investment when you're balling, like a certain pair of two brothers who are known for that. Um, you can do that when you're making $10 million a month and it doesn't matter. But if you're trying to do that making six figures or even 20K a month, you are going to go broke. Most ballers go broke, almost all of them. I've done a video on it. Just give them a long enough timeline. Unless they are extremely good at getting revenue and extremely motivated to get revenue even after they are rich, which is a lot harder when you're a baller because the whole point of getting rich was so you could ball out. And that's why most ballers go broke. Um, so everything beyond the investment classes that I mentioned, with business being the best one, is a lifestyle investment, the purpose of which um, is to enjoy life. But financially, it's either worthless or depreciates at anywhere from 30 to 90%, right? A used TV is maybe 50, 70% depreciation based on how old it is. Clothes are often 90%. Food is 100%. Bottles in the club is 100%. I'm not saying don't do those things, of course, but remember that the whole purpose, if you want to be able to do those things at a high level, is to use the investments that are worth something to get you to a certain level to where you can have all the things that you need and still have them come out as a 20-30% of the actual revenue that you take home each month, and buying enough security that you can handle any interruption in revenue over the next 20, 30, 40 years as you continue to invest, because there will be interruptions in revenue. If there weren't interruptions in revenue, all you need to do is move outside of America and make $25,000 a year, or sorry, 25,000 a month adjusted for inflation, and you'd be good forever. Problem is, there's interruptions in income, there's deflationary depressions, there's inflationary, hyperinflation scenarios, and especially the way the world's going with the reset, with AI, with social credit coming in, with carbon credits that you're going to have to pay for and everything you eat, with taxes, hyperinflation potential. You can't afford to spend your money on primarily lifestyle investments unless you're up in that 7 figure range. I consider 7 figures the new 6 figure business if you're going to live in America. Um, I've got clients, they're spending 9,000 a month just to live comfortable with a girlfriend. Because let's face it, a girlfriend in America is a $2,000-3,000 investment because she wants to go out to dinner 3 to 4 nights a week and vacation and all this other dumb shit. Um, so like spending 9K a month, you're like comfortable, but you're not balling out in America, especially including some business expenses and other things like that. So to get rich, you need to put as much of your money as possible into profitable investments, and as much of that into your most profitable investment, your business. Compound interest that every year, get an SBA loan, um, keep your margins at 40, 50%, reinvest monthly, dump it back in until multiple 7 figures. Biggest mistake I made in my 30s was making way too many non-business financial investments. Um, the other trap, which I successfully avoided through minimization, income arbitrage, and only staying in luxury furnished places, was lifestyle leak. Um, I've been living a pretty, let's say, comfortable life out here in Southeast Asia, very comfortable, and is able to do so because of um, the tax minimization I got from moving out of Canada, and the income arbitrage where the US dollar is just, exponentially valuable over here compared to the local currency. Um, but I didn't build a proper flywheel within my business. I didn't build out another business that had a better flywheel. And that was a major mistake. And I didn't put myself in a position to access the credit markets because I was happy to leave Canada. I can't access Canadian credit markets unless I want to pay taxes there. So, um, I've got a US LLC on deck for a US company where I will be doing that. Georgian company, Dubai company. Um, there's potential for credit in each of those locations through the corporation to reinvest into the flywheels. And I've got 3, 4 flywheels on deck with the semi flywheel here in RLD with my lifestyle business. But yeah, the biggest mistake I made was not buying that business flywheel, dumping back in, because RLD just wasn't the vehicle that was fit for that. I'm merging it into that. I'm moving it into that. Um, but it wasn't, because it was a lot of it was tied to my time in coaching, which couldn't scale because guys wanted to talk to me one on one. Um, and the game has changed. In the 2010s, you could do 20K a month, live in Southeast Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe, travel around, be hard pressed to spend any more than that unless you were flying private. But for the 2020s, with the reset, AI, all those things that I mentioned, it's a new game. And unless you're doing seven figures, you got to start spending a lot more on investments that are worth something financially. Okay. I'm saying lifestyle investments are worthless. That doesn't mean they don't have value. I'm saying they are financially worthless as proven by their depreciation rate, for anywhere from 30 to 100%. And a 30% depreciation rate on a car is, I mean, it's eventually going down to like 90%, right? Let's be honest. Eventually it depreciates to zero. So if seven figures is the new six figures and you're not there, one of, if not the major problem that you're having, is not spending money and reinvesting money in investments that can make you more money, to where you can be making 100 grand a month and spend 25K a month and not give a fuck, right? And you can spend 10K on a night out at a club in Dubai and just ball out, and ain't no thing but a chicken wing, right? But if you're not doing seven figures, then you can't do that shit, and it's going to cost you exponentially in terms of compound interest that could have been put back into that business. And even with the bulk of the other investments outside of business investment, currency, you're losing money, just less than you would on food. Crypto, if you bought last year at the top, you would have lost 80%. Real estate, you can lose money there. Bonds, you're losing money compared to inflation. Rare watches, vintage cars, hit or miss. Gold's done, outside of equities, gold's probably done the best out of everything in the last 30 or 40 years. It might have even done better than equities because, um, equities is adjusted to inflation by some charts, whereas gold, if you look at the chart without inflation, is done straight up since, well, sorry, there's some periods where you would have lost money, but it's a pretty nice chart since it was, um, de-indexed from the dollar. And what that really is actually just the dollar depreciating against gold, um, which is the actual scenario. But on each of those investments, if you pick the wrong one, you've picked a losing investment. Even Warren Buffett doesn't bat 100% on all his investments, but you at least have a shot at making money on those. You at least have a shot at making money on them. But the bulk of it should be in the business, because the business, you have a shot at 10,000% over the first 2 years, right? You can take a business that you put $500 into and scale that up to six figures. I mean, my initial investment in RLD was nothing. There was a point in time where I had $100 in monthly expenses. It's a joke. You can uh, start a small business, selling real estate for a couple grand, right? Buying the business, buying the QuickBooks, buying some of the software. You don't need an office. You just need the laptop and your phone and the designation, and hit the road. Maybe you buy bulk email, you buy some bulk direct mail, whatever, 5,000, right? That you could turn into six figures in the first year if you hustle. Um, so, and then seven figures and then eight figures, right? You're not really going to get that anywhere else, with the exception of, Bitcoin's, done quite well, but, that's doesn't touch what Jeff Bezos did on Amazon, or Steve Jobs did in Apple, or Bill Gates did in Microsoft. Nothing does. Nothing touches a business that can scale to eight figures or even multiple seven figures each year. Um, and with the other investments, you can't pull revenue out of them, with the exception of bonds and real estate. And you also can't get a bunch of corporate debt on them that you're not liable for, right? With equities, you can get a little bit, but if you have a seven-figure business, um, you can get a $5 million SBA loan in America. So if you're not at the financial goals that you want, think about how much money you're spending on things that are financially worthless or massively depreciate. And what you need to do to hit those goals, a lot of it is reinvest in things where you have a shot at making money. Best one is being your business. I say you don't scale out and do the sort of kitchen sink hedge across all of them until you're scaled to multiple seven figures, and you can pull out a nice dividend and sort of hedge $1 million across whatever assets are going to make you feel comfortable, the multiple bank accounts and all that stuff. And that's exactly what I show you how to do in my net worth course, how to get an 8-figure net worth. It is a 8-figure net worth game plan, both in terms of accumulating wealth and then how to protect it, as well as a deep understanding of money, a deep reprogramming around money, a deep understanding of the philosophy of money, how the central banking system works, how the debt system works. You might have read that stuff somewhere else. You're not going to get the level of insight that you get in this course, and you will see why I'm so incentivized and pushing this new game plan based on what is happening in the world in regards to the monetary reset, CBDCs, AI, uh, carbon credits, social credit, ESG. That's going to be, uh, in addition to your home, you're going to have ESG governments for your business. There's probably going to be a global wealth tax for you expat entrepreneurs, and just exponential increases in technology like AI that are hard to predict. And if you want to get rich and get rich for sure, I think you need to be aiming for 8 figures. Um, the, at current day's prices, not today, but something to aim for the next decade, or it doesn't have to be. Could be 5 or could be 3, if that's what you feel is enough. But higher targets than you were setting before, and I'll show you how to do it exactly in the course. So check it out, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/courses. Other than that, appreciate you watching this video. Hope it was helpful, and God bless you, and much love to you. Thank you so much for watching.